6th is the registration for it, and it's from 7 to 8 o'clock. It's the introduction and registration. Need to come, you'll get your book that night, etc. And the program itself will be the following 4 Thursdays, October 3, 10, 17th, and 24th. It's from 6:30 to 8:30. If you want supper, which we're providing, that starts at 5:30. So you get a meal included, and if you need childcare, we're going to line that up too. So please, come check us out Thursday evening and come attend. It's really interesting. Creation Health was started in Florida with the Adventist Health System that developed it. So it's been around for a few years. I was at my chiropractor's office this week and talking to this gentleman that was waiting and exchanging information, and come to find out they are doing Creation Health at their church here. We're a Sabbath-keeping church. That's a Sunday-keeping church, and there's several churches, both Sunday and Sabbath keepers, that are doing the Creation Health program. So awesome that that's going on. So if you need any flyers, friends that could come, it's $40, and for having 4 2-hour sessions plus a meal every night plus childcare, that's pretty reasonable. The other thing is we're going to be hosting a movie called Hell and Mr. Fudge. If you haven't heard about it, you can do the trailer on that and see. This is an awesome story. So if you would like one of these, you can. It's going to be at the Glenwood Theater off of Midland and 435. So I would encourage you guys to take one of these. West Glen Theater, get the right one. And you can only get tickets either online or calling. You cannot get tickets when you go. You have to get them ahead of time. So I just want to stress that. The tickets are only $5. They're not that much. But this is a must-see movie. It's really, really good. So I have extra flyers here for that also. Well, I'm glad all of you are here today. Today we're going to be doing some of those practical, hands-on, how do you get into that garlic? It is so hard to peel that silly thing. How do you do it? And if you don't have one of those fancy, smanchy onion cutters, how do you cut an onion? And how do you get into that pineapple or that mango? And we're going to teach you how to get into a coconut. And with that coconut water and milk, we're going to take some of that mango and that coconut milk, and we're going to whiz it up and make a little drink for you to try. And that's something we do in our house a lot. And what we're going to start with today, we're going to kind of reverse the order a little bit. I have Carrie here who's going to demonstrate for us how to do a gluten-free crust, because I know in today's world, and I'm one of it, and Carrie's one that is gluten intolerant, and so how can you make pizza? I mean, that's kind of a standard out there. So we're going to start with that, and then I'll do my demo, and then we're going to watch that. What is this? What is an orange juice? What is with that? Processed orange juice, when you buy it, what really is in there? So we'll be talking about that. So Carrie, come on up and tell us a little bit about how did you get onto this gluten-free journey, and come talk to us.
All right. Well, we didn't know about celiac when I was a baby. And my mother, being the first-time mom, and she had lost her mom when she was 13, so she didn't have her mother to call up and get wisdom. What do I do with this baby that's always sick? And she would take me to the doctor, and I would have what's called projectile vomiting. It wasn't just regular baby spit up. And the doctor's like, why are you starving your baby? And she just wanted to break down in tears. I am not starving her. I'm trying every formula out there, and she is still not gaining weight. They didn't know what to do. So by the grace of God, flourished well enough, and dealt with sickness throughout, my childhood, and strep throat and all those things. And I think I was between 18, 19, 20 years old. My mom started making gluten. It was wonderful. She was known as the gluten queen because she could make that stuff taste like meat. My dad, meat lover, he would eat that stuff and never say a word, negative against it. He loved it. Within that time frame, my mom and I sat down and talked to each other and said, you know what? I don't know. I think maybe I have cancer or something. I'm like, what do you mean? So we're describing symptoms back and forth. I'm like, whatever it is, we both have it. And a friend in church, my mom started sharing what her symptoms were. And she says, have you heard about being on a gluten-free diet? She's like, what, huh? I'm the gluten queen. What do you mean a gluten-free diet? And so that's how my mom heard of it. At the time, I was up in North Dakota, and I had watched a video about a year previous to that. And there was a food demonstration. They were talking about all of my symptoms. I'm like, yes, this is me. This is what's going on. And they said the gluten-free diet, and you don't eat this, and you don't eat, I don't have that. So apparently I didn't have, this gluten intolerance because I didn't want to eat oranges the rest of my life. For some reason I had in my head that's all I could eat was oranges. So anyway, my mom calls me up and she says, Carrie, I think I know what our problem is. I said, you do? What is it? She says, we're gluten intolerant. I'm like, oh. I knew that a year ago. But I had denied it all that time because it's such a big hurdle to get past. And I didn't know what to eat. Nobody talked about it. Now it's fairly common. We didn't know who to talk to. Doctors hadn't even heard of it before. We're like, well, we seem to do better when we don't eat gluten. We're like, okay. And we got on the internet. I printed off like a booklet for myself because you couldn't even buy a book in the store. So we're reading through all this. We're trying to learn what to eat, what not to eat. We're eating spaghetti, and then later we find out, oh, we can't do that sauce because, there's a hidden name that means gluten. And so we, over the years, I guess for 20 years now, on that gluten-free process, and learning more and more where they're sneaking in stuff. Luckily, some people aren't severely reactive. They just feel better when they stay off gluten. My son and I, if we get a hold of it, we go into, I don't know if it's, and if it, yeah. My son August, he's also gluten intolerant. And we actually go, I think it's called, what do they call it now, looking brain? Anaphylactic shock, where basically our body gets rid of it in an hour, and it's very painful. I go into shock and get pasty. Sometimes I'll pass out. Michael, when we first got married, he didn't know how to react, so he's calling 911. We had to pay for that for the next 5 years. So I do really well if I stay away from it. Unfortunately, I was talking to somebody, I can't remember who it was, and they said, it's a friend of mine, her sister, as a nurse, and she says, celiac is the disease. She says, isn't celiac progressive? And over the years I have discovered, it seems like there's more and more foods I can't tolerate. I have to be more careful. So today I'm going to delve into the pizza crust, and the way I make it is, I call it Mediterranean pizza, because for the severely reactive celiac, such as myself, there's an amino acid, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name, I looked it up this week, I couldn't find it. There's an amino acid in a tomato that once it's heated, cooked into your spaghetti sauce, it activates that amino acid that in the severely sensitive will act like gluten. So I do not do well with tomato sauce of any kind, tomato soup, any kind like that. I can have a few tomatoes on a sandwich or in a salad and not consecutive meals. So my Mediterranean pizza, I'm going to delve into it. Of course, I heated up the oven to 425. Usually you use a round pizza pan, but I use this one because I'm going to cut it up into squares so you can all, whoever wants to, can have a taste of it. But what I did is I just sprayed the pan, with pan spray, and sprinkled cornmeal on it. If you want to do that, it's optional. I like that, kind of crunch. Because sometimes it can, I don't know, it just depends. Sometimes it can be soggy, so the little crunch adds a nice variety. Can I move this over?
Yeah.
Understand? Well, I guess I can just move everything over. That's all right. I'll just do this. All right. There are a lot of products out in the market. You can get gluten-free pizza crust mix and just follow the instructions. With all my additional allergies, I cannot find anything on the market pre-made. I have to make everything from scratch. For the pizza crust, I have white rice flour, if you like thin, crispy crust. Or if you like a thicker one, this is biscuit and baking mix. This one does not have tapioca starch, which I'm allergic to, so that's why I use it. I have found recently, if I use half and half, it makes the kind of crust I like. It's not too thin, it's not too thick. Does anybody think they want the recipe? Because as we go through.
Yeah.
Greg, can you hand that some too? And we can possibly print out more if necessary. Let you look that over as we get started. Now I went ahead and did my flours already, measured out, just to make it go a little faster. You'll see on the recipe there. I think we might need to print some off. Vivian, can you take account of how many extras so you can need to print off? Does anybody else want one that did not get one? August has a couple over there yet. Raise your hand if you still want one. There's a couple left. August, up here, sweetie. Okay, now y'all are gonna have to tell me how much is needed because I forgot to leave one up for myself. Yes, half a cup of each flour, I've already put in here. And a half a teaspoon of salt. And you can season it or not season it according to your taste. Today I put in dried basil, smoked paprika, oregano, coriander. And then I'll mix the other ingredients. For the milk or water, you can use regular milk, you can use almond milk, soy milk, whatever. I have to make my own like cashew milk. And for me to bother to make 3/4 of a cup milk, I'm too lazy for that. I just use water. So it works. It might taste better if you use milk. And then 1/4 cup oil. And it doesn't matter what oil you use. Today I'm using olive oil. So let me get that mixed up and let you see what it looks like.
Oh, okay.
Mary, one more time, the biscuit baking mix, that was the tapioca?
It does not have it, that's why I use it. It's Bob's Red Mill biscuit and baking mix. There's a baking mix that has the tapioca. This is the biscuit baking mix. So, it's not simple. Okay, 3/4 cup milk or water.
Have you tried it with the milk?
It changes if it's a sweetened milk. I didn't care for so much, because you know you're going for savory and the sweets kind of. But this is pretty basic. I've done fruit pizza, you know, where you do like a, I think I made it out of cashew, but like, you know, the cream cheese and then you put sliced strawberries and kiwis and that kind of thing. And that worked out really good, and that's where the sweetened milk would be tasty. All right, and 1/4 cup of oil. If you get too much oil, it will be dry and crumbly and cracking. And if you put in too much water, I'm trying to think of what it does. And this is just kind of doughy when it's done. I don't know, the camera's gonna see which way to go. This way? Okay, with that ingredient so far, you can see how it looks there. You have to add flour. I don't know if it's barometric pressure or humidity, but this thing is different every time I make it. So always have extra around. Add extra water and flour, and it becomes a guessing job until you get it right. And sometimes if you add too much flour, you kind of lose your spices and herbs that you added, so you may add more depending.
So you added more rice flour to it?
I did add more rice flour.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah. And you can kind of see a little more of what it's acting like now. It's starting to clean the sides of the bowl. It's not so gloppy, it's more, you want to be able to put it in the pan like that. Now, regular pizza dough, you see on TV, they pull it out and they start flipping it up to the air and kneading it. This, to have a good consistency when it's done baking, you almost can't touch it because it's so sticky. So by the grace of God, He helped me come up with a plan. Because I used to get it so dry just to be able to work with it. What I use is saran wrap. Artist, would you mind? It's right there, like the secret artist in saran wrap. Forgot to grab that in the beans. Alright, my prepared pan. Let's see if this one works. Okay, that's what it's supposed to look like.
Press, there's no baking powder or no yeast or no nothing?
Alright, let me talk about that a little bit. Alright, in the biscuit baking mix, there is already baking powder,
Okay.
and there is xanthan gum in here, which if I do a little bit of that, I'm okay, there's not a lot. So if you wanted a thinner crust pizza, and you were just using the rice, you would want to add the powder. Mhm. Okay, so I have some saran wrap on there. You can see it starting to take shape. I like to use the rolling pin just because it's a little more even, because I tend to get thin where my palms go. Yeah, those are, got it. This is brilliant! Yeah, and you can still use your hands, you know, so.
She said a bottle.
Yeah, a bottle would work too. And before I had a pizza pan, because I was too cheap to buy one, I would just shape it in a round shape. At this point, I'm going to call it good and just finish it up and get started, and maybe you can take over. But with this pizza, if you're wanting to make it round, you can, with the plastic there, just round the edges and then flatten it back out. And just keep working it into the shape that you want, if you want it to be round. It's also a matter of how thick do you want your pizza. Just, you know, roll it out flatter if you want it thinner, or keep it thick. The recipe, I believe, says a 1/4 inch thick. Will take 10 minutes to bake. So if you like it thinner, you know, obviously make it less. This also would probably make a good cracker. And like I said, I don't use tomato sauce on my pizzas. So what I use is, I think it's called 3-pepper hummus. Is that what it is?
Roasted red pepper.
Roasted red pepper hummus, which of course you can make from scratch or buy it from the store. That's what I use for my pizza sauce. And then on top I would use pineapple chunks, fresh basil leaves, artichoke, Kalamata olives, I think some sliced green pepper. And that's what I make my pizza out of, because you can't do cheese very well with it. So, that's why I call it Mediterranean pizza, because it's not fair to call it pizza. So, any other questions? Vegan cheese usually has soy in it. I don't use a bit of soy.
It has arrowroot too, 'cause I think Gaia, we decided has arrowroot.
It might have arrowroot as also. A lot of those gluten-free replacement products, I don't do very well. So, I mean, this is up to your creation. If you want tomato sauce and a diet cheese, or I remember making tofu cheese. We just grate tofu over there and spice it up real good. Back in the day when I did soy. So So, any other questions or comments or ideas, maybe?
I think it'd be good with a pesto. I think it'd be very
Yeah.
good with a pesto base like that. I've made that vegan pizza with pesto before, not yours, but I know
Yeah.
that pizza with pesto, and it was a raw pizza.
Oh, sure. Yeah, she mentioned using pesto, which I love pesto. When I make this crust, I bake it up. I put on the toppings that I mentioned, and then I just warm it in the oven because I don't want my hummus to dry out. I did that before, and it's kind of so if I just bake the crust fully, put all my toppings on, and just warm it. It does freeze well if you want to do that. Kind of crisp it up in the oven a little bit before you put your toppings on. What I've done here at Potluck before is I've made the pizza all put in the freezer or the fridge, whatever, and then here at Potluck I'll just throw in the oven, and it works out. The reason I wanted to do it fresh for you today, because everything's always better fresh out of the oven, right? But gluten-free products tend to get dry on the second or third day. They're not as fun. So I appreciate Vivian giving me the time to share this. And also, we'll be back for the second half to let you taste it. Hopefully it turns out good today. I do artichoke in the can because I'm completely ignorant about anything else.
I wonder if you could put flax in your crust.
I don't know why not.
For moisture.
That would help. She mentioned flaxseed.
Brown.
Round it up. Yeah, this is just a base. I mean, it's just to get you started. You can do so much with it. It's very versatile.
Thank you for those recipes too. Well, we're gonna do some, how many of you cook with fresh garlic? I'm just kind of curious. Yeah, most of the people are here. So, you know what I'm gonna be doing, you probably already know this stuff, but I thought we'd start with the garlic here. And, you know, I have found in the kitchen, probably that one of the best things is having a trash can, but also having a good knife. Yeah. Yeah, and the bucket would be good.
How about this?
Yeah. Just gonna throw this down there. And I was taught, I worked with one of our plant managers. They were Italian descent, and I was always thinking, I used to buy the garlic that would be in the containers, you know, the chopped up garlic. But he said there's nothing better than fresh garlic. And so I said, okay. But what I do is you just take the garlic and you just bang in a good one. And I always have a wide knife. Pop it, you know, just kind of cut the end off. And it just comes right out of there. And it's like ready to go. You know, most of my issues with garlic was getting it out of that skin. So again, just take it here, pop it, cut the end off, and it comes off. So you are a better man than I am with that.
I hope so.
So Carol, do you drink it when he's done with it? It's not too much. Okay. I didn't know there was such a thing as too much garlic for you.
It's cleansing.
Yeah, it is cleansing. And so I always do fresh garlic. This is not to do a sales pitch, but I haven't come across another one that's as good, a Pampered Chef garlic press. And so I always press, you know, all my garlic. I don't ever do the container stuff. So that's it for the garlic. How many of you do that already? I'm just curious. A few of you. Okay. So,
I shake garlic with you.
She says she shakes it all over the kitchen.
You could exercise at the same time. I saw a demo one time. You just take your garlic, break it up, throw it in the bowl. You put another bowl on top, and just shake it, and all the peels come off, and you get a little exercise while you're doing it.
Really?
You can Google the video on
You know, it's been so fun on, you can Google and YouTube about anything. So I don't know if any of you heard her, but she puts it in a bowl with a cover and just goes around the kitchen and shakes it. And eventually the peeling will come off.
It only takes maybe a minute or two at the most.
And you look at the exercise you get, Charlene.
Works for me every time.
If you're
Okay.
small, it doesn't work, huh?
Okay. The next thing I want to show, and Jim is going to tag team with me on, and you know what I didn't do? I did not wash these.
Kind of from the inside out? No, you can't do that on that.
Jim, well, let's do the onion first, and then I'm going to go wash these mangoes. How many of you, I have one of those little machines. I can cut my onion and just zoom, and it's cut. But you don't always have that, especially when you're traveling, etc. So Jim, how should you cut an onion?
The easiest way to cut them is to peel them first,
Which I did.
take the top and the bottom off. Cut it in half. Then you can slice it.
Halfway slice.
Halfway through.
I'll let them know you've done it after.
Just go just go basically halfway through, then come in from the side. And you have your mixed onion. If you use a slicer, any kind of a slicer, you end up with onion juice. Period. I tried all the slicers. The best one was probably a little $3 one I bought at the grocery store that didn't have any power, it broke on me. But I like to chop an onion. This is a perfect chopped onion to me, like 1/4-inch cubes.
Forgot to cry
It doesn't, you'd be surprised, it's not, I used to do them like this, and then I would slice it into thin layers, and then lay the layers down and chop them. Then you try it, this way you know. I think because I got my head up here above the microphone. But then you can just roll it over again, slice it, chop it, and then you lay down the little piece that's left and chop it. So, that's how you chop it.
Okay.
What should I do with this?
Don't leave, because we're gonna do the
What should
mango.
I do with this?
How many of you do your onions like that? Okay, okay, everybody does things different. And just because we do it this way, doesn't make it right. It's just,
You do it wrong, it's not bad, it's just that you do it wrong.
okay. The next thing we're gonna do is the mango, and I'm gonna show one way, and Jim is gonna show another. Whenever I do my mangoes, I want them for my fruit smoothies. And we're gonna be getting into that coconut, and we're gonna do some mango with coconut milk. So I'm gonna show you how I do it for my smoothies. And Jim is gonna do the fancy way, a fancier way. The one where you Oh,
Pineapple, but I'll do it.
do you know how to do that?
We'll learn as
I
a
can do
group.
both.
We'll learn as a group.
How many of you guys eat mangoes? You know, I'm amazed as I I've done quite a bit of educating across the country, and so many people won't touch these because they're too much work. I don't know how to get into them. I don't know how to pick them out. When you're looking for a mango, you want them to be soft, like this, where you can kind of put your thumb into them, and colorful. You want them, you don't want them green. You want them where they're nice deep colors, okay? So that's kind of what you look for. And then, the way I do mine when I juice them, this one could have been a little bit riper. I peel it. I had some company over one weekend and they said, "You do your mango like that?" I said, "You mean there's another way?" And this is a little messier compared to the other way.
Okay, what happened?
And I forgot my fancy schmancy Pampered Chef peeler at home. So this one. Okay, you can see that this is a kind of oblong. I always cut against the, and I know I'm cutting against towards my body. You can feel the seed. Those people that don't turn their cell phones off, I tell you. Okay, has anybody ever seen it done like that? Am I the only one that does it like that?
I do it like that all the time. I
Okay.
don't use the carrot peeler thing, I just use the other one. That's the route I've always cut. Like what you just did.
Okay. You know, against the seed and then flip it out. Okay.
The way that I normally
Normally,
go all the way around it.
Okay, these people get in the way of canvas.
And then you take the knife and you kind of tilt it up and work your way up over the seed. And you can feel once you get it above the seed. Just kind of keep working your way up. A little deeper each time you go around. Where the stem is the hardest part. And then you get where you can peel it off.
should run an avocado to demonstrate it.
And then you just quarter this.
Maybe you can hold it up harder.
Draw lines across it, and you'll notice that you can go through the back, but it's like an avocado rind. It's hard enough that you can feel it with your knife and press against it. As long as your knife is not super sharp, you won't go through it. Then you just turn it inside out. And then you can cut it off.
Is that not cool? If any of you went through the CHIP program, Dr. Deal teaches it like that in his video series.
That's a good way to eat them too.
And I tell you, if you don't eat a lot of mangoes, you should. And with the large influx of South Americans, papayas are common. And there's no fruit better for you than a mango or papaya. It has all of the antioxidants that you need. Has most of them have at least 7, if not 12, amino acids. which is more amino acids than you can get out of red meat. You only get 9 amino acids out of red meat. Next to hemp seed. Hemp seed is the ultimate source of amino acids. Mangoes and papayas are both high in amino acids. And the great thing about this method is when you get done, you can chew on the seed.
And you can get those almost all year, fairly reasonably at Aldi's.
Yes.
Very reasonably at Aldi's, yeah. They always have mangoes, almost all year.
Would you say that again? Would you say that, because they can't hear that?
Oh, you can, Aldi's has mangoes almost all year round. So does Price Chopper. Mangoes are one of the tropical fruits that grows at the upper edge and the lower edge of the tropical zone around the world. So it's the largest growing zone in the world is where mangoes are grown. And it's called subtropical is this low, and I forget what the high tropical part is. But, so they grow year round. You can get a fresh mango any time of the year. It may be from, China or Brazil or whatever, but mango trees are normally not sprayed with any pesticides because they have, the juice of the mango tree is a poison to bugs. So they usually don't need pesticides. Yes.
Okay, next we're gonna do pineapple. Okay, how can you tell if a pineapple is ripe? Anybody know here? How do you know?
Aren't you supposed to rip one of the top leaves off?
Yeah? If you can pull these out, is it the top ones?
The very top ones.
They pull out real easy. So it's ripe and also the color. Okay, it's a dark color. So I'm going to show you how I do it, and Jim is going to show you another way that he does it.
You ought to see the way I do it. There's not a pineapple left.
You take this part right here, and you bury it in potting soil, put it in your basement on a window that gets south sun, and in 18 months, you'll have another pineapple. That's how they start pineapples, right there. If this is done in the tropics, 2 or 3 will start off. In the tropics, when they plant this back in the ground, 2 or 3 will start off of this and make 2 or 3 new pineapples. But in our climate here, you can get 1 new pineapple, but it takes about 18 months. And you just put it in potting soil up to about the 2nd or 3rd row of leaves. Keep it moist and keep it in a sunny place that doesn't drop below 50 or above 80. Like a basement window with a southern sunlight.
So how many pineapples have you grown in your house?
5.
How big do they get?
The biggest one I've got is about so big. Because I forget to water them. They're in the basement and I don't think to water them.
Isn't he amazing? He's always full of something, isn't he? Okay. Okay. Again, for me, we eat a lot of pineapples in our house. And this is how, actually Lisa taught me, and I was looking on the little tag that comes with the pineapple, and this is how they teach you to do it. That's how she learned. And again, a good knife is key for all this. For me, I don't like the core, but my fruit smoothies do. So they always go in my fruit smoothies. I never throw that away. And then you just cut the outside of this. And this goes in my garden. And you just cut it up. And there you go. Is that not fast?
We also have pineapple cutters now. Fred Lucky has one.
You know, I've
You know
seen,
what? They mash a lot of the juice out, I think. Have
yeah.
you seen it? They just like mash the juice out.
To me, it's a uniform size and pineapples are always different
Yeah.
sizes. So I've not gone there
I don't
because,
like it because they mash the juice.
because this is so fast. I'm only gonna do half of this so that, Jim can show you the other way he does his pineapple. Last one, again, cut the core off here. There's that. Okay, Jim, why don't you show us how you cut your pineapple?
A couple of misconceptions. No part of the pineapple is poisonous. Used to think that when you got a piece of pineapple that had the little brown thing on it, that would get stuck in your stomach or was hard for your body. It's not. It's just indigestible, and so your small intestines will grind it into kind of a paste and then push it on through.
You're done with lunch, it's okay.
And this part of the pineapple has zero food value. Has a lot of fiber, but there's no food value. No vitamin C, no K, but it has a lot of fiber, so it's good for fiber. Yeah, the way I do them is very similar. Cut the bottom off first. And the key is the knife. Cut the top off. If you're going to grow it, you want at least a ½ inch or an inch left up here. Then you stand it on its bottom, and you look and you'll see little dark spots. Those are called eyes as you come around here. And there'll either be 7 or 9 of them, depending upon how big the fruit is, because this is one that God calls an odd fruit. It has 9 or 7 or 5 sections. Some have 2, 4, or 6, which are even fruits. But you take your knife, you place it, you pick 3 eyes, you place it inside the middle eye, and slice straight down. You pick 3 eyes, place it inside the middle eye, and go straight down. Straight down, preferably. Then you simply half it, half it, and take out Vivian's favorite part. Put it in this one, and then you have pineapple.
So couldn't you lay it down like this? And cut it,
Good, because you needed it.
and cut your hand, like I do?
Yeah.
Okay.
But let me give you one quick tip.
Telling you.
If you are not an expert knife sharpener, I'm going to show you what I saw on Iron Chef. And they talked about it because they caught Bobby Flay doing it with supposedly nobody looking, but the guy with the glasses that runs the computer, he caught him, and so he said, "I'll explain." Oh. He said, I'll explain to you what he was doing. If your knives normally are sharp, but you've been using them and you've dulled them up, if you look at the edge of a knife, it has teeth on it. Even though you think it's smooth, it has teeth. And those jagged edged teeth are what cuts, because if it's a solid thing, it doesn't cut, but those little teeth will cut as it goes through. When they get beat up, they get bent so that they're not in a row. A chef, for a quick fix, will take a spoon or a utensil that has a sharp edge, put his knife on there, just pull it across there.
Do it again.
What butchers used to carry a steel, a long rod in their back pocket, they'd pull it out and whip
Get
it
to the
like that.
microphone.
Butchers used to carry a steel, which was a round rod about the size of your little finger, and they'd carry it in their back pocket, and they'd pull it out, and they'd smack their knives. You see them doing that all the time. Slow and deliberate motion works better than quick stuff. So you just slowly and deliberately place the edge on there, but it's got to be solid. It needs to be solid. Pull it across on one side, pull it across on the other side. You've got a sharp blade.
Go, Jim.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is this watermelon. There's different ways of getting in a watermelon. I'm gonna show you one way, and Jim will show you another. I always just, start in the center and cut down. And by the way, how do you know when it's a good melon? Yeah, you want to hear the sound of it. Does that sound good? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And you probably have something else to say, I'm sure.
Yes. And everybody can do it right now.
We do not plan any of this. Oh my. Wow. Okay? Good one, isn't it? So all I do is I cut down the center, cut down the middle, cut down the middle. Again. Let me go grab, underneath is the bowls in the back corner. So all I do is
We have a question back there.
I have a question.
yes,
Tying last month to this one. I don't see any seeds. Does that mean it's genetically modified?
I didn't buy these, but probably.
Why look at me?
Why'd you look at poor Rick?
This poor Rick is the one that bought him.
Dwayne?
It doesn't necessarily mean genetically modified. How we used to, you can see this watermelon, you cross the tetraploid with the
Wayne, come up here and say that again. Please.
Your voice is so soft I couldn't even hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, now come way up here on the microphone.
I don't know what they do with watermelons now. They might have some genetic modified, but in the past, how they did it, they cross a tetraploid with a diploid, and they get a triploid, which is non-fertile. Kind of like a donkey and a horse, you get a mule. And so it's just regular classical breeding, and it just doesn't produce seeds.
Okay, that's very
That's
good.
why sometimes you see a few seeds in there is because
Come close to the mic.
There are a few.
sometimes you see black seeds is now whether they'll grow or not, maybe not, but sometimes you see a few black seeds in there.
Thank you.
There will be a quiz when we're done. Okay, so again, I
This
just,
will be, you get to try
Yeah?
Yes.
And if you want small pieces, you know, cut across the top. Or if you don't, you know, start at the bottom. Is that easy or what? Don't ask me, I just was doing that one day and I go, oh, this is easy.
Now, who pickles the limes?
My grandma used to, all of it.
Okay, Jim, how do you do your watermelon? And he has his knife.
I do my watermelon by cutting off the top and the bottom.
Does it matter what size the watermelon is?
No, you can do it with any size.
So the one we had last night was about those two put together.
Yeah, it works the same. And then we cut it in half. Then it'll stand up for you.
Is this an even fruit or an odd fruit?
It's an odd. It's an odd, You notice when you cut them in half that the seed packets, if there's watermelon with seeds, there'll be 3 packets on one side and 2 on the other.
Yeah, I've always noticed that.
Who has ever looked at, who plants watermelons? Yeah.
I used to plant the sugar beets.
See, to me, it looks like there's a lot of rind on the bottom.
Vivian, what was he talking about? What were you guys?
Oh, see the watermelon, is that for real, what you just said about the watermelon?
Right? Is that a joke?
Is that a joke?
No, watermelons have 5, yeah, they're all fruit that has multiple seeds. The seeds grow in little placentas. They'll be in an outer covering. And sometimes they'll have 1 seed sac, sometimes they'll have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Watermelon happens to have 5.
When you're saying 5, you mean if this had the seeds in it?
If this had the seeds in it, and you can come up here and you can kind of look at the end of the watermelon, you'll see a swirl there with the little white seeds. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I know what he's talking about. It kind of looks like a tomato, but
Yeah,
Like if you cut off a banana and it will say yes with a Y, so it must be a 3.
yeah,
It goes in the 3.
I don't remember all of them, but every fruit has a different, there are 2 groupings, as I recall. There's an even and an odd. You know, but now you're pushing my memory to college, and that's 100 years ago.
300 years.
300. I was right after Moses.
Okay, so are we supposed, yes, Rex?
I've heard 90% of the value is in the rind. Is that so or not?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Not to my knowledge. There is ground supplemental value in the rind, like there is in all rinds. There's insoluble things like potash and potassium and those types of things, but when it's in the rind, it's not readily accessible to the body. Now, the white part of the rind is totally edible. It just doesn't have the sugars. The sugars concentrate on the darker fleshy color to the fruit, but the white part is edible and it's good for you. It just doesn't have very little food value and no flavor. The watermelon is one fruit that the outside rind has no food value.
What about mangoes?
Mangoes are the same way. There's no food value in the outside.
Well, I meant the in-between part.
Yeah, but yes, the in-between part is always, it's like a sweet potato. I love sweet potatoes and I eat the whole thing, but the outer crust of the sweet potato, the outer skin, does not have a lot of food value, but it gives chew to it. You know, I always, if I eat a potato of any kind, I eat the whole thing, I never peel them. But with fruit, which a potato is not a fruit, I'm telling myself as I'm sitting here trying to be accurate. With fruit though, like bananas, the outer rind is not good for you because it's not digestible. And your body has to, your body has to struggle with it. Depending upon your immune system, if it's not, something's not digestible for you, your immune system can kill you trying to get rid of it. Because your immune system will attack that which is not digestible and form an impassable slug in your bowels that you have to have taken out. But your immune system will not let it go through if it's not digestible. It just keep attacking it and building a cocoon around it to protect it from the body, and it's not good.
You gonna finish cutting that?
No, this you can eat the whole thing. You can put this on a stick and eat it like popcorn.
Maybe you can freeze it, make popcorn. Yes.
That's what I've seen at fairs in the South, they do with mangoes. They peel them and have them on a stick and do it that way.
Yes. Yep.
Except for somebody who has tight teeth like me, stuck there. So I can't do it.
The stick?
No, the mango, I can't do it. I can't do that. Can't you just hold those all together, and do them together?
That'll be good.
I'm sure glad I'm here for you, Jim.
Me too, baby. I don't know what I would do with that.
Rest in peace.
I've said that many times.
So does anybody else do anything different than what we've demoed? Just curious?
We leave the rind on.
You leave the rind on.
Cut it in
Oh,
quarters.
yeah, cut it in quarters and eat it the old-fashioned way.
Melon baller,
Yeah, the potluck way.
that takes forever.
Oh, the melon ball? Yeah? Yeah?
Or if it's a small one, just cut it in half and serve it with a spoon.
Yeah? Yeah? Those are the olden days, huh? How's the pizza coming along? Okay. Yeah, why don't you? I think we'll try some pizza while we're getting this finished up. Does that sound good?
I'm afraid of this knife, it's so sharp. I didn't realize I was gonna sharpen it that way.
What do you think? Want to hand me that? Beside the water pitch, the water, on the other side of the water, there's a pitcher. Thank you.
Right now we have
How is
pineapple
that?
and mango.
Yeah. You have what?
Pineapple and mango.
Yeah. Yeah. How, what do you think of the pizza?
The crust is very good.
Isn't that awesome?
Very good. It's an Italian cookie.
That's right, Italian cookie. You know, I have another one sharing my story. Some of you have heard it. I learned I was gluten intolerant this last fall, and my story was I just had a random bone density test because it was part of a research study at UMKC, and I thought, oh, I'll go. This is probably 4 or 5 years ago, and I had my bone density test done, and it showed that I had osteopenia, and which is a precursor to osteoporosis. And I thought, what? Here I exercise a lot and I eat really healthy and this makes no sense. And so I thought, okay, I'll start doing a calcium supplement. And so this last year, I went ahead and had another bone density test done just to see. I thought, ugh, I'm sure it's all better now. And then I had full-fledged osteoporosis in my spine and my hips. And I thought, how can this be? Makes no sense. And I was, after church potlucks and some work events, I was starting to get headaches. And they were really, really bad after church potlucks the next day, Sunday mornings. I had migraines, like throw up, can't function, had to have it dark. And I never had that before. Anyway, make a long story short, as I researched and went in and went to a naturopathic doctor at Shawnee Mission, Dr. Megan Schlick. She took all the testing that had been already done by the regular medical doctors, and she's the one that helped me determine I had a gluten intolerance. And so what a blessing to figure that out. So I know there's a lot of people that have inflammation and have full-fledged body systems. Fibromyalgia many times is a gluten intolerance. So I think there's a lot of people that have a gluten sensitivity and don't realize it. Okay, the grand finale is how to get into a coconut. You know, actually Rick went online and figured this out and shared this because I have been like this massive, take one of these, and I was taking a hammer with big nails and banging and then I would drain it, and then I would take a hatchet and I would take it out on my concrete steps, and I'd be busy, whacking, and the coconut would fly over, and I'd go get it and bring it back, and I'd be busy trying to, this thing was mangled by the time, and I thought, oh, this coconut is so nutritious, and how do you get in it?
It's the exercise.
Yeah, it was the exercise. So, Rick finds this video, and I'm going, it's that easy to get in there, and I've been doing this. And I want to back up a little bit. The brown coconuts, the ones that are the dark brown, are the grandpa and grandmas, okay? These are the teenagers, and these are the ones that you want. When they're the dark brown, the meat inside is the really hard meat. And that's what they use in the commercial, when you buy the coconut. So we want the baby. And we'll see. I've had these for a few weeks in my fridge, so we'll see how much milk is in them. Usually you can shake them and you can hear how much fluid there is. But see the peak? And again, a coconut is layered in the green. They take all that off, and then here's what they leave you with. So, yeah, these are Thai coconuts. And Lisa is the coconut queen. She knows all about coconuts too. And if there's anything else I missed, please share. And I'm sure Jim will jump right in and share what I missed. What?
Could he walk at his age?
Yeah. And again, the key is a good knife.
And you can get those less expensively at the China, where you go ahead, the China Market downtown.
China Market downtown, you can get them less expensively.
Or 888 at 119th and 69.
888, 119th and 69.
And if you buy them at Whole Foods, you're gonna pay an arm and a leg.
Yeah. Whole Foods is whole paycheck. And so you really don't want to be buying
Not there,
that
not,
there.
not those, not there.
Some things you have to get there. Coconuts is not one of them.
That's not one.
So what do you usually pay for one?
What were those, $2.69? When we first started, they were like $1.29, which was awesome. Then they went up for some reason for several months to like $3.69, which is outrageous. I quit buying them. And then they're back down now to I think about $2.69 at 888 International Market at 119th and 69 Highway.
Lisa, I can tell you why they went up.
Why?
The Americans found out about it and started buying them.
Well, that's not logical because they were buying them before.
Yeah, but the holes, H-O, what is it, the one we went to? Anyway, it's on 95th Street. I asked her why the prices went up, and he said, well, mostly this was for the Asians. She said Orient, anyway, for the Asians. But so many Americans started buying them that we had to go up in price.
That's right. They want to make more money.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're becoming
That's right.
Americanized.
Okay, so once you get that top off, and it looks like this, and here again, it's all about the knife. This knife is a Cutco knife, and it is like razor sharp at that peak right there. Go ahead.
What kind of steel is it?
I don't know,
It's
but
surgical stainless, I think.
yeah.
Surgical?
The downtown off of the, out by City Market, it's China, what's it called,
Chinatown.
Market or Chinatown?
China Market, yeah,
But these are Cutcos.
on 3rd Street,
Had mine.
or 4th,
Yeah.
3rd.
Well, you could do it with other knives, it's just,
A
you
meat
have to
cleaver
have
does
a
well.
good knife of
Right.
some
Right.
A meat cleaver does well too.
Meat flavor, whatever. Anyway, if you get in here, there's an area right here that will just pop off, which you're gonna see here in a second, once you start at it here. Is that not incredible? After I was chasing those coconuts down the driveway
And losing the juice.
and losing the juice. This thing is full of juice.
And you should probably tell them if they're gonna do that to make, if it's bad, how to tell if it's bad.
Can't tell because I don't.
Oh, okay.
That way I can scoop on this.
Most of the time, these are good, most of the time when you get them, but see how clear this water is? If on the really young coconuts, the meat is going to be very gelatinous. It's just going to be like little gelatins. But anyway, I'll try not to be carried away, but, and the milk might have a slight pink color. If it goes past that and you start getting any kind of an odor from it and it turns really darker pink, then don't eat it because it's not any good. Okay? So just know that. Most of them that you get like this are going to be great. And then too, if you keep them in your fridge, they're going to keep maturing and then the meat's going to get thicker and you're going to have less water content. Just so you know that. So what I do is I get those and I'll buy a whole case of them. They come like 9 in a case. And then I'll take them and I'll just have like a coconut-a-thon. And I'll just bang a bunch of them, drain all the juice out, take all the meat out, put them in freezer bags, put my milk in the freezer bag in the freezer containers, and just stick them in my freezer. So that when I want to make like a raw dessert or something, then I just get that out, thaw it out, and I'm ready to go. It's really easy. And you can also get there is 119th and Metcalf. There is a place called Patel's. If any of you know where Mardell's is at 119th and Metcalf, like Mardell's is here, right down in that little shopping area is Patel. And it's like a Indian, Pakistani place. A lot of Indians go there. I think an Indian gentleman owns it. But they have shredded coconut for like $2. You can get a bag of shredded coconut in there, already frozen, already out. And then I don't know if they have that at 888. It's hard to get anyone there that knows what you're talking about at 888. So if you have a lot of questions, I don't know how to help you there because, you know, they don't answer too many. But anyway, there you can get, if you don't want to go to all this trouble, they sell a brand of coconut water that is literally nothing but coconut water. Nothing added, nothing. And they're in cans about this. They had a whole case, I think it was 24 on sale for like $22. And those are cans, you can use them as you want them. They're the same thing that comes out of here. Your taste is going to be a little bit different here. This is sweeter, that's going to have a little bit of different flavor, probably because it's actually canned. But anyway, if you don't want to go to all this, that's how you can get around getting other kinds of coconut.
Thank you so much. How many of you have ever tasted coconut water? Okay. For those of you who haven't and you want to taste this before I mix it, feel free to come up and just pour some before I get started here with anything else. I mean, feel free to come up. And so when you scoop this out, you know, it just pulls out. Looks nasty, doesn't it? But it's really good. So clean it out. And there you go. There's an empty coconut. Was that easy? Wow. I'll open up the second one just so we have enough fluid. And what Lisa was saying about the coconut water, I have read this, and I have not, you know, you wonder sometimes if it's an urban legend. But back in World War II time, when they did not have blood to transfuse, they would transfuse with coconut water, is what I've read. It's true.
That's true.
If Jim says it's true, it's true.
Guide magazine, the magazine here that Chapel Oaks distributes, the kids magazine, I think they had something about it on the back cover.
Yeah, that's totally sterile.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
it's a sterile liquid. I make fruit smoothies almost every morning for my breakfast, and I always use that canned coconut water that she talked about. I get a case of that, and that's my medium for my fluid. And I always put, I'll put coconut water and bananas and whatever other fruit, a handful of kale or spinach or dandelion greens or turnip greens. Rex?
How do you keep your kale from going wilted so fast?
That's kind of tricky. I keep it in the fridge and just use a handful a day. Last night, I had this huge bag of kale, so I made some kale chips. They didn't last long. Between my mom, me, and my granddaughter, we had them polished off. So they were pretty good.
If you put a damp paper towel in with the kale in a plastic bag, it really does help.
Okay. Damp paper towel in the bottom of a container, a sealed container, will help keep it fresh. Oh, and the green bags. How many of you have used those green bags? Yeah, we have them at our house too. They keep things pretty.
We also have this green Tupperware stuff that Mama ordered off the internet, off the TV. That really is amazing. It's like this. It looks like the stuff you get at the grocery store. What's that stuff called? They consider it disposable, but I don't think it's disposable. It's like that kind of stuff. It's what it looks like. Yeah, it's kind of like Gladware, but it's green. And Steve, they got it off of QVC.
Okay, we're going to do this next one here. I'm not gonna put all this meat in one. I've been on mission trips where they would go crawl up the tree and with their machetes cut them, and it's like Lisa said, they have a very gelatinous inside. They're not hard at all like this.
Well, also, in the coconut, okay, thanks. This is another thing I learned about coconut not long ago, but it has a lot of fiber. The meat has a lot of fiber, but the more it's processed, it's really weird, the fiber content goes down. It's crazy. Like if you get that sweetened, the baker, you know, the brand, our grandmothers used it all the time. The sweetened coconut shreds and stuff at the store, they have less fiber than what you get out of here, which is really weird because it's the same thing, but I guess it must have something to do with the processing. I don't know what it is, but these are packed with fiber in the meat itself.
Okay, we're gonna throw some of this coconut in here.
Dangerous territory.
It is.
It's like a bunch.
Having a nice blender makes a lot of difference too. Oh my, that is so good. I'm gonna put some more of this fruit in just so we can use it.
Sounds good to me.
Let me get some water.
While she's doing that, I'd like to say something here. I have learned that if you want to make a veggie smoothie that you can drink and make it real tasty, you can make it very similar to what she's doing here without.
Aren't you watching?
Yeah,
Coconut.
I know probably go through.
Mango,
Oh, mango.
pineapple.
Without the mango. If you put banana,
You failed the test.
well, get your coconut and the coconut water and you don't want mango, you want a melon or a banana to sweeten it.
You put stevia in there too.
And stevia.
Big bound.
Yeah, and
That's great.
stevia, you can put that in there. You can put mint in there and you can put,
Fresh milk?
yeah, fresh green mint. And then any kind of greens you want.
Yeah.
And the reason you can put the banana and the melons in there, the watermelon or other melons, is because they are compatible in the digestive system. I've talked to Dr. M about this, and he said those two will work.
So
Whereas,
melons and greens and banana, is that right? Is that what you just said?
say it again.
Melons, greens, and banana,
Yeah,
that's all compatible.
Yeah.
With vegetable.
yeah, you can eat bananas with any food
Well, I
that
knew
you're
that. But like a watermelon, a
Water-
honeydew,
Right,
uh,
right.
cantaloupe,
Cantaloupe,
but not pineapple.
not pineapple. Well, you know, I'm
Is that
not
is
sure
that
about.
opposite?
He didn't say pineapple,
He
but I
didn't say.
have heard
Okay.
pineapple you can, but I've got to get more information on that. But no other, no banana, no apple, no
Right.
oranges,
Okay.
that's it.
For those who really want to really fine tune their diet, for many people, just getting more fruits and vegetables in your diet is key. So let's mix this and see.
Cocoa pine milk. Coconut, pineapple.
Okay. Whoever wants to come try. Some of these. While Jim is doing that, any questions? This is, what's nice with this, it's raw. You have all your nutrients,
Fiber.
loaded with fiber, phytochemicals, antioxidants. It has everything. Any questions on anything at all that we've covered today? I have the well, some got handed out, but it's the juice from like 1.5, and the meat from 1. Mhm. So feel free to, I'm gonna go ahead and close. Those who want to come up.
Making sure he's still alive.
I'm going to go ahead and have a closing prayer. You can come by and try one of these. We lost our speaker for next month, so if anybody has any suggestions, we're always open. And there's also those flyers for the Creation Health and the Helen Mr. Fudge up here. Well, let's go ahead and say a prayer before everybody heads out. Father in heaven, we thank you so much for, again, the many blessings that you give us and all the foods that you have provided for us to eat, and that we could just talk about a few of them here today. As each one of us leave, we ask for your protective hedge, and we thank you so much for all you do for us. We ask this in your name. Amen. Come on up and try some before you leave, and thank you so much for being here today.
Yes, I did. I should give you about the juice. About the orange juice video.
Oh, the orange juice. Oh, the orange juice video. We almost forgot. It's 5 minutes. You want to see this. I am so sorry. Thank you for saying something. Totally forgot. Rick worked so hard to make sure this would work, so we have to watch this. Thank you. Rosaria, thank you. Thank you. I gotta try this pizza crust.
Oh, it is so wonderful.
Carrie, what did you put the basil in there? Yeah.
What else? That's it? No.
That was overboard.
Christy?
So much.
Yeah, I'm worried about that. Thinking I'm gonna get here, it's gonna
Oh man, I can't believe I forgot that. It worked. You definitely taste it. Listening to Carrie, her story about her gluten should really impress you, because I almost bet you've got a gluten thing going on.
I think I do, because I thought it was sodium, but it's not sodium. Because sodium shouldn't shock your blood pressure.
Yeah, because my girlfriend went off the gluten and then she went, she got it again and she just swelled up. She had swelling in her legs and, so, I can almost bet.
Yeah, I don't have swelling.
But you have inflammation,
But I do
because that's
here.
what's bringing up your blood pressure.
Yeah.
You take that home.
How do you do that? You have to get chicky? I know.
Do you know the good way to test it? You want it? Juice in 4 weeks, because it should be out of the triggers there.
So I can have it, so, but I won't sell this.
Okay,
It's like delicious homemade baby.
okay.
That's the cheap way.
But I mean, to test it, after I've been off of it for a while, you just take some wheat germ or something, or can you do anything? some of it's still in the conveyor. Yeah. Right. Oh, so it's had it, wow. Right.
But if it's not a certified clean mill,
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Which one's the mango? These ones?
yes.
Oh yeah, they're weird tasting. They're okay. They're just different. So, thank you. Mango berry.
They all have different nutritional components.
Can I try to message pineapple?
Mango, I like the taste of mango. There's a lot of good enzymes.
What about that star fruit?
That's good too.
I've never had star fruit.
Mango.
You know, it's surprising because they said the red stuff is.
Oh yeah, where is it? Oh wow, can I look inside there?
Not really. I mean, I can get the sound going,
Maybe.
but I don't know. Yeah. Okay, if you'll pick up that down there and help me with it over here. I don't know why that doesn't work. It's all plugged in, right? It works before. Tested it out.
You know, I actually had read that the color did have, in the pineapple, had some nutritional value. Oh, it is? Because when we went to look at the Vitamix demo, he said you always use the pork, and it has a lot of, everybody said it.
It's a trade-off between the energy it takes to chew it and the food value you get out. It almost takes more energy to chew it than the food value. But it has fiber.
Rick, is that one gonna work or not?
I don't know why it doesn't work. It's all plugged in. It should be going. It should be working. It worked before.
Celery.
Hello, Miss Wallaby. You tired? Okay.
Okay, how come that's not working now?
Farm with animals.
Can't make it work?
Oh, it will work. It's not plugged in. Why isn't this working? This is plugged in. It was working before we ate.
Yeah, because all you did was unplug it or something.
Yeah.
So,
Why isn't that working? Just on the off chance, did I knock something here? Is this the thing that pushes it over to that?
Well, whenever we see an ad for orange juice, it usually includes.
Oh, man. Yeah, give me the warning too.
take a picture of it.
Yeah, I was wondering. But I can't even get this in there now. What's the deal?
Oh, what about do you have to make that search for it
There it
again?
is, there it is, there it is. Okay. It should come on. No, it should come on. It takes a little time.
We were just, both of us noticed that. We're here weird. Only changed what they said.
Okay.
Oh, because you have the computer hooked up to it. I mean, you have the cameras hooked up to it, and that's probably throwing off from the...
No.
I was sitting down and I can't come up with
Okay. This is coming in. You're not taking that apart, are you?
Trying to get the tape off of it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why I'm having such trouble, but I am. How would I take it?
Should be going on. Should be on that one. Working a few seconds ago.
And just sensing that it's a new connection, it'll take automatically search for it.
Yeah, well, no, it takes a little while for it to get there. I don't know, we've got the sound. I don't know what's wrong.
Have you tried pulling it out and plugging it back in?
I did.
Oh, okay.
There's a cable down there that's on the thing. Hold it a second, one right here. Does this one have to be hooked up? Right here?
No, I don't think so.
No? How would you know? You have so many things going every direction.
Because I've got this going
There's
into
one
this.
there and one there, it's not hooked up. Those two, I don't know if those are important. This one? What does this go to? Oh, well, this is just an empty cord.
Yeah. No, we've got the sound, I think.
Words like one.
Yeah, we got the sound. How do we have the sound? You know, the sound is coming from... Where is the sound coming from?
Oh, yeah. How are you getting the sound?
Exactly. How am I getting... Oh, from here. Here.
Oh, that goes in.
Yeah. Well, we've got the sound. That's all we need. Okay. Everybody?
Which needs help.
Those two people are talking, and you got the moderator and you got the person that's starting to explain things. So I don't seem to be able to get a signal, but we can hear it. So we can go with that. It's only 5 minutes. I don't know why it's not working. I'm sure it's a simple little thing.
Whoa! Wiggle the cord. Jump up and down 3 times, run around, touch your nose.
I didn't do that before.
Some cord was wiggling.
That's right, it's when you wiggle something. I wonder if it's those that are connected. Right there.
Probably is.
Try the other side. Something coming out of the camera, maybe?
I don't know why this isn't working. This should be working. We got the sound. Oh, well. Okay, here we go. Just the sound.
Well, whenever we see an ad for orange juice, it usually includes words like 100% pure, not from concentrate, or even sunshine in a glass. Most of us think it's healthy juice made of fresh Florida oranges and chock full of vitamin C. A book says the OJ in your glass could be chock full of other stuff as well, like chemicals, artificial flavor, even sugar. The book is called Squeezed, What You Don't Know About Orange Juice, and its author, Alyssa Hamilton, joins us now with more on this. So I think it's true that people who enjoy a glass of orange juice think it's pure, it's good for your health. You say not so. How come?
Well, I'll correct you. I don't say that there are artificial additives or sugar added, but certainly a product such as not from concentrate, which is marketed as a higher quality, fresher product than, say, from concentrate, is a heavily processed product.
So tell me more about that. When you investigated not from concentrate, you're right. I think people think that they're getting better quality. So what actually is in not from concentrate?
Well, the juice is stored in these huge million-gallon aseptic storage tanks, and when the juice goes into the tanks, so that it can keep, it has to be de-aerated, which essentially it has to be stripped of oxygen. When you strip the juice of oxygen, you also strip it of flavor-providing chemicals, natural chemicals to the orange juice. So the juice companies then hire flavor and fragrance companies, same ones that make high-end perfumes and colognes.
Fragrance?
Fragrance companies to manufacture flavor packs.
Mr. Perkins, a yellow cord disconnected from the box to the ceiling. Is that a problem?
Up there.
On the,
Our projector, sorry, there's a yellow cord
Oh,
disconnected.
no, that's, she means on the projector back here, Rick.
Oh, no, that's not the problem.
Can you run it through the camera so we can see it?
I'm trying to. I can't even get the camera to work like it was a while ago. Something has gone wrong. But we can start it over again.
Start it over, we'll just listen. If anybody wants the link, give me your email and I'll forward it to you. You can watch it.
Or just, what are the keywords?
We can probably pull it off.
Juice, anything but pure.
Okay, run it again. I don't know.
This 5-minute thing is taking much longer.
Yeah.
Well, whenever we see an ad for orange juice, it usually includes words like 100% pure, not from concentrate, or even sunshine in a glass. Most of us think it's healthy juice made of fresh Florida oranges and chock full of vitamin C. A book says the OJ in your glass could be chock full of other stuff as well, like chemicals, artificial flavor, even sugar. The book is called Squeezed, What You Don't Know About Orange Juice, and its author, Alyssa Hamilton, joins us now with more on this. So I think it's true that people who enjoy a glass of orange juice think it's pure, it's good for your health. You say not so. How come?
Well, I'll correct you. I don't say that there are artificial additives or sugar added, but certainly a product such as not from concentrate, which is marketed as a higher quality, fresher product than, say, from concentrate, is a heavily processed product.
So tell me more about that. When you investigated not from concentrate, you're right. I think people think that they're getting better quality. So what actually is in not from concentrate?
Well, the juice is stored in these huge million-gallon aseptic storage tanks, and when the juice goes into the tanks, so that it can keep, it has to be de-aerated, which essentially it has to be stripped of oxygen. When you strip the juice of oxygen, you also strip it of flavor-providing chemicals, natural chemicals to the orange juice. So the juice companies then hire flavor and fragrance companies, same ones that make high-end perfumes and colognes.
Fragrance?
Fragrance companies to manufacture flavor packs to put back into the juice to make it taste fresh.
And if the juice didn't have these flavor packs and these fragrances injected into it, what would the taste be? Would it be completely devoid of that orange, tangy orange
like
taste?
sugar water, essentially. It would be the natural sugar solids. This isn't added sugar that I'm talking about, but it wouldn't taste like an orange. It has the flavor removed once it's stripped of the oxygen.
And what's in flavor packs? What are the chemicals that go into this?
Well, they're derived from orange essence and oils that are lost during processing. But what the flavor companies do is they break down the oils and essence into the constituent chemicals and then mix and match, reassemble them into flavor packs that have actually signatory. Each company has its stamp. For instance, Minute Maid has a reputation for a candy-like orange flavor. And most of the flavor packs going into juice sold in the North American market have high concentrations of a chemical called ethyl butyrate, because the industry has discovered this is what we like most about the taste of a freshly squeezed orange. So it has levels in higher concentrations than would be naturally there in the juice.
Ethyl butyrate does not sound
It doesn't
appetizing
sound
at
very
all.
good,
It's
but
just a flavor enhancer?
It comes from orange essence, so it's one of the chemicals, one of the many chemicals that make up a very complex flavor. Orange is a very complex.
I'm sure part of the mythology of marketing is this impression that when you're drinking your orange juice, it's not long from that orange grove.
Well, you have the straw punctured into the orange.
Exactly.
That's the image that is implanted on all our minds when we drink orange juice.
So typically, how long is it between the time an orange is picked in the orchard and the time it winds up in our fridge or on the kitchen table?
Well, that's a good question. We don't think of orange juice having a season because we get it 365 days of the year, but that question depends on when you're drinking the orange juice. So from March to June, when it's Valencia season in Florida, which is the Cadillac of oranges in the industry, the Valencia, you're getting more fresh juice in your not from concentrate than, say, in the summer, during the summer months when there aren't oranges growing in Florida and they're getting the oranges from Brazil.
So as you debunk the myths of processing orange juice, are there real nutritional or health concerns here?
Well, I'm not a dietitian, so I stay away from, dietary advice, but there could be cause for concern with respect to the flavor packs. The oils that they're getting are from mostly oranges grown in Brazil because it's cheaper there, and the environmental regulations are not the same there obviously as they are here, so we don't know the pesticides that are being used. I just yesterday received an email from a concerned father who said his son gets allergic reactions to drinking all the processed juices on the market, yet he can drink a glass of freshly squeezed juice and eat a whole orange.
So given those kind of concerns, and given that it's just always better to know what you're eating or drinking, what advice do you have for people? Is there certain things you should be looking for on labeling?
A good gauge in terms of freshness is the best before date. If it has a 60-day shelf life, you can pretty much count on it being a heavily processed, manipulated product. Fresh juice doesn't last more than a couple of days.
Okay,
so.
Good to know. Forewarned is forearmed. Alyssa, thanks very much for joining us today.
Great, thank you.
Okay, there you go, we got it, thank you for staying by, is that not incredible? It's always best to do fresh. So, and we will see you next month. If you can stay by and help us pack up the tables, we'd appreciate it. And clean up if you can't.
Thank you both. And Rick too.
There's still some juice up here if anybody wants some real juice. There's still some coconut in here too.
Question for you. I am juicing a lot of vegetables, and sometimes I put an apple. Is that not good?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
The rest of the world says yes.
Okay.
But what they're trying to do is get people to drink vegetables. And so people won't drink it if it's not sweet. But if you can put stevia or honey, and if you use honey, use raw honey. And you can use banana or melon.
I am excellent. How are you?
Especially the honeydew melon. Really sweeten it up. Yeah, or both. Or you can also put in coconut milk. Like almond milk, but coconut milk.
Oh, okay. Oh, I put it in my car. Oh, okay, I know how that is.
I think it's never finished.
You know whose tomatoes? Oh, you brought them? No, I don't want them, because I want them.
What you do it the way she does it. Drink it, it doesn't let it touch your strong. And then drink the water.
Well, somebody from class does something.
What is in your orange juice?
I always have a tendency of letting it be lemon do it by itself. Lemon water. But I'm sure it goes great. What are you trying to accomplish? Now, I've often wondered, got one that I don't. So why can't you do that? But I think people on that one was another doctor. Said, don't do that because it's fine. If you do it.
Wait a week on it, but it's good to start.
I don't think that you
Like a drunk person. I've never known anybody that Gloria.
Gloria Garcia.
Oh, okay. Which church do you?
I go to New Haven.
Well, thank you for coming.
Things were sure simpler when
Boy, keep up that good nutrition.
Things were sure simpler when you were younger, weren't they?
And we grew up and turned to be adults too, didn't we? Pretty much giveaway.
Take a photo. Take good.
Oh, could I have a chair someplace or
No,
should I?
you gotta sit on the table.
Get you here.
You gotta,
I have to wait for him. I know, I'll place the chair where you want to sit.
you gotta sit on the table.
Oh, I don't know if it's only Friday nights and Tuesday nights or.
Here, here's a chair.
I can go in the sanctuary.
Now, here's a chair. Where do you want it? Put it any way you want. Yeah.